What's up, everybody? Dwayne Bryant here from wagertalk.com with another edition of my MLB betting trends report for Tuesday, June 13th. Man, where am I? So guys, make sure do me a favor and please hit that subscribe button. Also hit the thumbs up button and also hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss out on any of my videos or live streams. I'm going to do this MLB trend report Monday through Friday at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And occasionally, if it works out, I'll try to squeeze one in on a weekend, but that is probably going to be very few and far between. If you guys have any trends or angles, MLB situational stuff that you want me to research in the SDQL database on this show, drop them in the chat and I will get to them in just a minute. Let's get into our SDQL for today and some trends that I have here that I think are of some interest. And we're going to start off by looking at Chris Bassitt. We're going to look at him over the last couple seasons as a road favorite. So we're going to go back to season greater than or equal to 2021. Our starter is Chris Bassitt. We're going to look at him as a road favorite of minus 125 or more. Now, I know I used the less than symbol there, but the database doesn't recognize that we are referencing a line. It recognizes the minus 125 as a number. So if we want to know how Bassitt does at minus 125 and minus 130 and minus 135, we have to use the less than symbol to do so. So we're going to go ahead and click the button. And you're going to see that Chris Bassitt is a perfect 15-0 straight up and on the run line as a road favorite of minus 125 or higher since 2021. You'll notice the ROI on the run line is almost double, 97% ROI if you take him on the run line. You'll see down here that it is active today, Bassitt and the Blue Jays visiting the Baltimore Orioles. Now, here is why I don't like this trend. Bassitt has just joined the Blue Jays this year, so there's only one occurrence of this happening with Bassitt in a Blue Jays uniform. This is a team game, ladies and gentlemen, and you can see that all of the results except one have come when Bassitt was with the Mets in 22 and with the Athletics in 2021. So while 15-0 looks great, and it is, it's not a trend I put a whole lot of stock in because he's only got one occurrence here with his current team. So I picked that trend on purpose just so I can give you guys an idea. I know a lot of times when you find out that a guy's a trend handicapper, that turns some people off. And I can understand why if you're going to blindly follow trends. But I think you've got to use some discernment and some discretion when looking at these trends and seeing, when they fit and when they really don't. And in this case, with Bassitt only having one occurrence with his current team, I don't put as much stock in this trend as I would some others. Let's move into trend number 2 for today. This time we're going to look at Jordan Lyles. And we're just going to look at Jordan Lyles this season. So we're going to change the season 2023. We're going to change the starter to Jordan Lyles. And you'll see that the Royals are 0-13 this season when Jordan Lyles gets the start. And even on the run line, they're only 1-12. So if you fade Lyles on the run line, you're actually getting a better ROI than on the money line. 67.1% ROI on the money line. Lyles is on the mound tonight at home against the Reds, and that game was Actually, the line was close to, even, I believe, the last time I saw it. Don't know what it's done in the last hour and a half or so. According to this database, the Royals are a minus 115 favorite. Now, this database doesn't update the lines instantaneously, so that doesn't mean that this is what the line is now. And I'm really not sure what line source they're using to get that number either. We're going to do another pitcher specific one here, and we're going to look at Pablo Lopez. We're going to look at Pablo Lopez over the last couple of seasons in a specific role and in a specific month. We're going to go season greater than or equal to 2021. Starter equals Pablo Lopez. We're going to look at him in the month of June. So month equals 6. In the database, you don't write out the name of the month. You use the numeric value for June is 6. And we're going to look at him as a favorite. Capital F is going to be a favorite here. So Pablo Lopez, since 2021, in the month of June, as a favorite. And you'll notice that the over-under is 6-0. 6 overs, no unders. These games have gone over by over 3 runs per game. You can see it is active today as Lopez and the Twins host Corbin Burns and the Milwaukee Brewers. I'm a little torn on how I feel about a trend that I know I don't like trends that involve certain days of the week. That I don't like. For example, I saw one earlier when I was doing my research. I think it was something like Cleveland was 1-10 on Tuesdays this season. To me, that's just a coincidence. As far as a month, when it comes to starting pitchers, I give this some validity only because I use fangraphs.com to look at my pitchers, and I use the splits tool there, and it'll look at how a pitcher does. It'll divide it up into many different ways if you use the splits tool. And one of the ways I like to look at is how they perform month to month. As you guys know, it's a long MLB season. Teams ebb and flow. All teams have ups and downs. Starting pitchers and players, position players, they all have ups and downs throughout the season. And some pitchers definitely fall into a pattern year in and year out as far as performing well in certain months and not performing well in others. So this is a case where I don't hate this trend. I mean, I don't love it either, but I do consider it and as part of my handicap for that game. Before I go any further, I just ask if you guys are interested, head over to dbbets.com. As you'll see here, it is my page on the Wager Talk website. And if you look on the right-hand side, I do have a play available today. It is an MLB underdog play. It's backed by several of these SDQL angles and put together. None of the angles for this play have lost. They're all perfect 100%. I do give the details on those situational angles in my write-up. So if you're interested, head over to dbbets.com and pick up my big MLB underdog bet for today. So let's go back over to the SDQL database. And guys, again, if you have any trends or angles or any SDQL questions, drop them in the chat and I will answer them before we call it a day here. In the meantime, I'm going to go to my next trend. And now we looked at some pitcher-specific trends for today. We're going to look at a couple of team-specific trends today. First one we're going to look at here is involving the Toronto Blue Jays, and we're going to look at them when they've been at home for a while. So we're going to look at them here. We're going to go season greater than or equal to 2022. So we're going to go back and include last season. Our team, I'm going to have to fix that L, is the Blue Jays. And we're going to look at them when they have been home for at least 7 games. So site streak is a parameter that you can use to figure out when a team is on a specific either homestand or on a road trip. If the number you use is positive, that refers to a homestand. If the number you use is negative, it would refer to a road trip. So I used a positive number, this number 7, because I want to see how the Blue Jays have performed when they've been home for at least the last 7 games. And we're going to hit the button. And you'll see that despite being an average favorite of minus 148, the Jays are just 2-11 straight up in games where they were home for at least the previous 7 games. They lost these games by an average of nearly 2 runs per game. You can see it is active today. Bassett and the Blue Jays, we mentioned Bassett earlier, visiting Kramer and the Orioles. And the Blue Jays are away in this game. So if we go one step further and say, how are they? This would basically be their first road game after being home for at least 7 games. And you can see in this case, they are 1-4 straight up for a 95.2% ROI if you faded them in this spot. And this is the spot they are in today. Also notice this, the over-under, 4 overs and only 1 under. And these games went over by an average of 5.8 runs per game. Now, a lot of that is this one game right here with the Phillies that was 18-11. But the total today apparently is only 8.5. And you can see this game had 11 runs. This game had 15 runs. This game had 10 runs. So 4 out of the 5 hit double-digit runs. So that's something that I didn't see before, but caught my eye this time around. Let's stick with another team-specific trend. This time we're going to look at the Padres, and we're going to look at them since May and how they've done at home against specific starting pitchers. So we're going to use 2023. Team is the Padres. And actually, I said we're going to look at them since the month of May. So there's several ways I could do this. I'm just going to put month is greater than 4. So basically since April. So we're going to start, basically this would start it on May 1st. And we're going to look at them against opposing starting pitchers who average, and this capital SHA is starters hits allowed, less than or equal to 5.5. So the Padres this season, since April, so starting May 1st, against opposing starting pitchers who average less than or equal to 5.5 hits allowed per start. If you click on this, I think I missed it. Oh, I missed the parameter. Yeah, this is Padres at home since May. You'll see the over-under. No overs, 12 unders by almost 3 runs per game. And it is active tonight. Padres and Joe Musgrove hosting Tanner Bibby and the Guardians. Very interesting over-under trend there involving the Padres. So I've got one more that I'm going to do before I check the chat for some queries or comments or questions. And I did one yesterday. I did an MLB wide one because I do a lot of starter specific and a lot of team specific trends. Every now and then I like to throw in a league wide trend. So for this one, we're going to go league wide. We're going to look at since 2017. We're going to look at home teams. Line is less than or equal to minus 150. Now that says less than or equal to, but it actually means if they're favored by minus 150 or more. And the previous margin, so their previous game margin is -1, which means they lost their previous game by exactly 1 run. And their opponent's previous run scored are less than or equal to 3, and their opponent's previous or their opponent's second most recent game runs scored was also less than or equal to 3. So since 2017, we're looking at home teams that are favored by at least minus 150 if they are off exactly a 1-run loss and they're facing an opponent that has scored 3 runs or less in each of their last 2 games. When we click this, we'll see these teams are 83-19 straight up, winning by over 2 runs per game. That's an 81.4% winning percentage. However, the average line on these games is also minus 208. So the ROI is 22%, which is still very good. You can see the average score, teams 5.27, their opponents 3.12. And you can see this is active today. The Mets and Max Scherzer hosting the Yankees and Severino tonight. So that was all I had on my end for my trends and angles for today. I don't see any queries or questions or comments in the chat. So that's going to do it for me for today. As always, please, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, hit that thumbs up, and also hit the bell for notifications so you do not miss any recordings or live streams on my channel. Again, I do this MLB Trend Report Monday through Friday, 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And that's going to do it for me today. And as always, guys, best of luck on all of your wagers today.